But before we go into what is good and what is not good, do you think that at all, I mean, considering where we are currently, do you think that the idea of emergency powers for the president to be able to get this economy out of, a recession are necessary?
Personally, my personal opinion is that we don't need any emergency power. This president, the powers of the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria are the strongest, the biggest of powers of any executive presidency anywhere in the world. The president of Nigeria is more powerful, can do more things according to the law and constitution than the president of the United States of America can do within the United States. And so the president does not need additional power. And secondly, mind you, everywhere in the world that people have talked, every economy in modern times that people have spoken and talked about emergency powers, that has led to more economic problems. There's no example of emergency powers that have been sought for, if the news stories are correct, that have led any country out of any economic problems. All the countries that have gone out of recession are countries that respected procedures and their rules and their constitution.
So you don't think
even
that,
China,
just a moment, you don't think that, in a time of when we have security issues, for instance, because some people would liken certain things to, that's the only place where we know that the president invokes security, emergency powers, where he has emergency powers
to suspend certain personal liberties, so that security agencies could perform their roles. Yeah, that is for security. But for economy, what is it that this president, for instance, has requested from the National Assembly that he did not get within days?
There is a reason why the Constitution would, support the suspension of, personal liberties, so that, security agencies can carry out their functions in such a way that the integrity of the country is protected. You don't think that in this particular instance, considering just how difficult things could get, that emergency powers will be necessary at all?
The Constitution does not provide for so-called economic emergency powers. The Constitution has procedures.
Does it envisage it?
It did not envisage, because if we are talking about economy, you need procedures. Let me tell you some things that some errors that are being brought in, and people have. First of all, if you look at the arms deal, one of the problems about the arms deal was that one or two persons decided to embark on procurement without the process, and this government is prosecuting them. Why would the government now want to suspend procedures that the procedures that the previous people, they said, did not follow, and they are being prosecuted? Why will you suspend the procedures? The procedures are there to protect everybody as far as the economy is concerned.
But you also admit that the procedures take time. I mean, I'm not saying that.
No, if they take time,
there's no power that is not subject to abuse. People can always abuse certain things and abuse trust, because a huge part of whatever powers the president will be asking for, if he's going to ask for it, is that he needs the National Assembly to trust. And trust that he will do what is right by them.
No, that's why the law is there, for National Assembly to check. If National Assembly removes that role over environment, for instance, and hands it over to the president, let's look at it. Let me ask you some practical questions. Look at what has happened in the areas of political appointments in the country. The issue of 95 versus 5%. What if the president, in his wisdom, decides to take all the money that's available to one part of the country? Those are issues, which is why you cannot, I dare say again, you cannot come and take that power of environment away, because it's not a security challenge. We are talking about process and procedures for which people are in court. People have been in detention for over 1 year that they did not follow procedures. If they did not follow procedures, why would you now come to say that the procedures should be dropped?
Mr. Shawulu, if I may come in here, we're in desperate times. I mean, the country is in recession, whether technically or otherwise, as the case may be. And they say desperate times require desperate measures. Are you still saying we should wait on procedures before we help to move this country out of the situation where it is?
It's very necessary for us to wait on the procedures for two reasons. The first reason is that every economy that has overcome this recession, because recession is not new, it has happened there before, has had to follow procedures and plans that were put in place. Now, when you remove those procedures and you give that power to do things to one or two people who do things on their own, you are going to have problems. The second one is that look at how the Chinese government overcame the recession of the last 10 years, for instance. The Chinese government, it was at that time that the Chinese government increased procedures about how things should be done. And people who violated the procedures of awarding contracts, of executing contracts, were given very harsh punishments. What I'm saying is that it is at this time that you need to, what is the procedure that we're looking for? That after the National Assembly has done the budget that we have done, a budget which the president said he was not going to sign until certain things were done, and the National Assembly obliged him. Then the president sits down, for instance, and says that, give me power, I can change, I can veer, I can do anything that I want to do anyhow. I can remove money that is meant for the coastal rail line and take it to Zamfara, or I can remove the money that is meant for Boko Haram and take it to Niger Delta. So you can't have that. If you do that, you are simply saying that we don't have the need for the National Assembly to exist. And if the National Assembly does not exist, if you don't want the National Assembly to pretend, then what is the purpose of having National Assembly? In any case, the point is that, let's go back to the important, what has this president asked for in the last 1 year that the National Assembly did not give him within a record time? This president has had the cooperation of the National Assembly that President Obasanjo did not have, that President Goodluck never dreamt of. Everything that he's asked for, he's got it. So if you want to do via me, what delay are you going to have for the president to send a request for vermin to the National Assembly to publicly discuss it, and it is approved or amended?
We need to take a moment now. We'll come back and discuss further the president's relationship with the current National Assembly. Do join us again.